My name is Prisha.
And my name is Shaquita,
and welcome to Searching for Freedom. So in this video, we are going back to the basics where it all started with our videos and just talking more about our singleness. And with this, we want to discuss, is your singleness bringing you closer to God, or do you feel like it's drawing you away from Him? Like you feel resentful towards Him? So in this, we kind of just want to talk about our situations and how we've dealt with this.
Okay. I can be honest. In the beginning, I had no idea. I didn't know anything about singleness. What was God's expectation for me to do with it? I felt like I had a scarlet letter on my back. You know, I felt like
I don't know, like I kind of feel you when you say that. Like, I feel like it's such a thought process when you are going into this walk, and like what people's expectation or the church expectation of you is, and like a standard that you have to uphold. But even prior to that, like just trying to learn what this walk looked like, what singleness looked like that was definitely a transition.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm finally at a place where I'm okay in my singleness, and not even saying content, but I'm okay. But prior to where I'm at now, I didn't know what to do. You know, I knew the expectation is that I was going through a lot. I was struggling, trying to figure it out. When I think about my singleness, I think about my identity. Before the wait with God, my identity was attached to being in a relationship.
I wanted to give that area to God. I wanted to give God control. It's like, okay, well, I want to give Him everything, but that may be one of the last areas that you decide to give up, especially when it's attached to your identity, like we've talked about already. But in this area, it's like even during my walk, I thought that I was giving God this area, that I was surrendering to Him my dating life and my singleness, but I found out very quickly that I was idolizing it. Like there was a time where I just knew in my mind, it was like, okay, God, I feel like this is a person that you are saying is going to be my spouse. I feel like this is going to be him. And I started praying about it. But I found that I was going in my closet to pray more about this potential spouse more than I was just to talk to God, to know more about Him. I was eager to go in there to hear about, okay, this is going to be your spouse. And it was not God telling me this. It was more of my desires, what I wanted. I was placing it above God. And I didn't realize that until afterwards, because I spent months thinking about, okay, this is what's going to happen, but God, I want to still do this right, so I'm going to try to bring it to you. So in a way, I was still thinking that I was doing what I was supposed to. And then when I realized that this person is with someone else, I was upset with God. I was frustrated. And it got me to a point where I didn't even want to go to church that next Sunday. Like, I was just wanting to sit at home and not worry about it, because I was angry and I was frustrated with God. And I wasn't even talking to you at that point. Like, yeah. I was so upset, and like, it had nothing to do with you, of course, but I couldn't, I was too angry to be able to verbalize how hurt I felt with the situation, because it was like, God, I thought I was doing this the way that you were telling me to. This is the promise that you have given me. Like, what is going on right now? But after God slowly spoke to me and He showed me His love, and He turned what the enemy meant for evil for His good, like, He allowed me to see how I was idolizing marriage so much that I placed it above Him, so much to the fact that I would get upset with God and not want to go worship Him, not want to pray for Him for a whole week at a time, because I was in my feelings about something that I wanted manifested over my own life. And at that point, I realized, I was like, God, this is an area that I have not completely given to you. Like, I haven't the way that I thought that I have. And it's pulling me further away from you at this time in my life, although I thought that it was bringing me closer to you, because I was like, okay, God, I'm trusting you for this. Like, prior to that, I was like, God, I'm trusting you for my spouse. I'm doing this your way. I'm dating with a purpose. I'm doing this your way. I'm not having sex before marriage anymore. Like, we're doing this the way that you want me to. So I thought I was on track. I was like, God, I'm doing this the way you want me to. But God had to show me, like, no, sis. Like, no, daughter.
All right, sis.
But he was like, no, like, you may think that you are. But he had to remove those scales so I can see, like, no. You're not doing this the way that I want you to. Your heart posture still isn't the way that I need it to be.
Yeah, for me, I feel like when it comes to my singleness, I put the buggy before the horse. And just recently, God has been putting Genesis on my mind and how he is a God of decency and in order. So when God, he got me through the hills and the valleys, even though we still have them. But, as soon as you start walking, I feel like you go straight into the valley, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then when you start breathing, so when you get to the point where you can breathe, now you feel like, okay, now I've earned everything else. So now that everything is
entitled,
right, everything is going the way that it should. So now the next thing should be marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what we think. Instead of stopping to think, okay, God, what are your provisions for my life? What is your purpose for me? What is it that you want me to be focused on in this season? So I can honestly say that for myself, that I too, even though I felt like I was closer to God, I feel like I was the farthest away from the plans that he had for me in my single season. And a month ago, I finally wrote in my journal, I was like, okay, God, I'm giving this single season to you, because I was idolizing it. And I wasn't handling it correctly. And I was the one in control. I would ask for God's input, but
it's like, God, I'm going to do this. Is that okay with you?
So I would ask for his input, but I never sought out his plans. I never said, okay, God, what do you want me to do right now?
What areas would you say, like, truly made you see that you were idolizing? Like, what situations have happened, or what happened where it's just like, okay, God, you allowed me to see that I'm choosing me over what you want?
A situation, it's probably many that I can think of. There's this one guy that I caught an interest in. I love the way that he serves. I love, his worship. I love the way that he's on fire for God. And so when I started noticing that every time that I would see this guy, instead of just saying, hey, how you doing? It was like, oh my God, there he go. I got to get up out of here. It is time to go, or I hope he's not looking at me, or I'm at church and I see him and it's like, okay, I need to stop. God does not give me the spirit of fear, for one, and especially not to say hi, and this guy don't know me,
girl.
So it's nothing for me to be afraid, so I knew then, okay, something is not right, what about you?
Girl, yeah, the situation that I was just talking about, like, literally, when I tell you it was in my mind something that I was praying about, it's like, okay, I saw the way that he was serving, I saw that he loved God, and I'm just like, okay, this is where I feel like I'm being led to. So I started praying about it, of course, but my heart kept being drawn towards that. And we hadn't had conversations that were on dating relationships or wanting to court or anything like that. Like, it hadn't been about that. I'm up here low-key heartbroken, upset with God over this situation where the guy didn't even pique interest in that way. And it's just like, I built it up so much in my head that when it didn't happen the way that I desired it, That is the moment where I'm just like, God, like this is something that I truly need to give to you. And like, and even with that, like, I felt like I rebelled hard the other way, because in that moment it's just like, okay, well, because I was idolizing this, God, I'm just gonna fast from dating. I'm just gonna fast from dating for a whole year. And even with talking with God recently about that, it's not even something that I consulted him with. It was just something that I decided I'm gonna do this. But it was out of pain, it was out of hurt, and out of fear of putting something above God again, that I was just like, I don't even want to put myself in a position that this could happen again. And it God, he's definitely teaching me, but it's bringing me so much closer to him, learning the ways that I'm imperfect, because that's when he is strong. That's where he's showing me his love and his grace.
It is so like hard for me to be like, just breathe, Quita, and talk about it. It's okay to talk about, you know, what you really go through and your singleness and how it all started, and where God is bringing you to now. Like for me, I feel like, you know, I've gone through the fear that I talked about, you know, just even afraid to say hi, or, you know, hey, nice shoes. You know, to the point where I feel like God is, since I said, okay, God, I'm going to give my singleness to you. Like, I'm done. I can't do this without you. You know, I don't even want to do it without you. I feel like he shifted my focus to, okay, he shifted my focus and pushing me into my purpose. And so once I realized, okay, he's pushing me into my purpose, that's when I realized, oh, so she was doing this all wrong. You know, you thought you had it all figured out. You know, you thought that there was an order to this, there was a time limit to this. You're 30, so it's like, you need to be married, you need to be in a house, you need to have, you know, this paid off and that paid off. And it's like, God, I hadn't consulted you about anything. And so now that I don't feel like that little high school girl, the one that has so much giddy in her heart when she see a guy. Now I'm more comfortable and I'm confident. You know, when I see that guy that, you know, caught my interest, that I was afraid to say hello to, it's like, hey, like I don't feel that I don't feel that fear or anything like that, because like my focus is on my purpose and God in this season that he now has me in. But it only happened after I surrendered my singleness to God and acknowledged that I'm doing this wrong.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, we kind of just wanted to talk about this, and it's not always the easiest for us to be transparent about having a heartbreak over someone who didn't even try to pursue you, or
to talk about it or to share it, because once you start talking about it, it sounds crazy.
It does, but it's real. This is real life, and again, like we've been saying throughout all of our videos, we kind of just want it to be a place where what we've been looking for, where there's times where we're going through our singleness and we feel like we're the only ones going through this, and for all we know, we may be the only one out here daydreaming about somebody that we ain't courting or dating, and having heartbreaks when they start dating or get married to somebody else.
We're not the only one, because I've heard your stories. I've seen your stories.
Listen, I was trying to give them the benefit of doubt. Maybe they're not as crazy as us. But
now that you may have a valid point.
But we just want to be transparent so that you know that you're not the only one during your single season. Even if you're not going through a single season, if you've done this in the past or you have friends that have done this, girl, you're not alone. You're not alone.
I promise you're not alone, because I feel like what we're going through it's a transition. You know, from doing the single season our way, now we're choosing to surrender, say, I decrease, Lord, so you can increase, so that we can do this walk your way, so that we can see the beauty in it, so we can see that God's ways are higher than our ways, that he knows better than we do, and that we can truly trust him if we surrender it, you know. And it makes me think about that picture with
The
small,
teddy bear?
yes, the teddy bear with the small teddy bear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, God, I love it.
It's mine.
It's mine. And
I've had this forever.
And he has this big teddy bear behind his back. Like, just give it to me. Just give it to me. Just trust me. And it's like,
girl, if you only knew. Let go of that little teddy bear.
Let it go. I promise you.
Even moments like this where we have gone through situations like this, it's allowed us to have moments like we were talking about in the last singleness video that we were talking about, where we have been able to just be like, God, truly all we desire is just being with you, and letting that be our own desire. But we didn't just wake up that way. It's been situations where we're going through things like this where God's showing us, okay, you're idolizing this, you're placing this above me, and it's not good. And with us being able to realize that, it's made our desire to be, God, I just want to sit with you. When I go in my closet, I don't want to be praying about someone who hasn't come up to me, or even someone who has come up to me every time I come sit with you. I want to talk to you just about you and I. Like, those are the moments, these areas where we have fallen short has allowed us to really be able to connect with God in a different way and desire Him differently than we have before.
And that's definitely something that it's taken a while for us to get to, because it's been
still going through it.
Well, I'm just saying, I feel like our heart posture is different. That's what I feel like has changed. You know, at first it was like, okay, time for marriage. Now it's like, God, I just want you, or okay, God, I don't know what to do, so I'm truly gonna surrender and give this to you.
Exactly. It's like, okay, we desire this, but we desire you more.
Makes me think about when it comes to the promises that God speaks over us, right? We think that it's supposed to happen immediately.
Right there. Yeah.
And so I feel like God took me to Abraham and the promise that He gave him, and then He took me to Jacob and the promise that He gave him, and David. You know how Samuel anointed him to be king, you know, at a young age, but he didn't become a king until you know, his adulthood. And once he was anointed, he had to go back out into the field. You know, he was a servant, so it was like, even though God has said, you know, He's promised us marriage, He's promised us a family, He's promised that we would be able to do life His way, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's supposed to happen tomorrow or next month or even next year. We need to seek Him and the season that He's called us to be in. And that's why I feel like my heart posture has changed in being okay with, okay, God, I know You've promised this over me, but I also know that I need to be tending to the garden. You know, I need to get my house in order. You know, if You sent my husband now, I don't think I would be ready. You know, so it's like shifting my mind, shifting that focus, being able to truly be okay with being in my singleness, and then not just identifying, oh, this is my single season. No, this is my time that I'm building my relationship with God.
Exactly. Singleness truly is a blessing, but sometimes we can't always see it because we are so blind about what our desires are and what we want for our own life that we can't see. No, sis, like, these are the moments that you get to experience God's love, where if someone else was there, you wouldn't have been in your closet praying at that moment. You would have been distracted by someone else. Just want to thank you so much for watching our video again.
Hey